Sometimes we're going through a struggle and we somehow take on the energy of that struggle. Not a good thing, right? And other times we've overcome the struggle, well, or we think we have, and we're ready to move on. But we keep looking at our now physical reality and we seem to get stuck right here. I'm sure you can relate. So, how do we move forward into our new reality and be excited for what's coming if we're so busy looking at our now physical reality that the new reality can't materialize because we're stuck here in the now? Well, this podcast is all about helping you with your spiritual growth so you can overcome obstacles like this and manifest your destiny, so you can crystallize all things good, basically, so you can have success on life's journey. It's all about getting unstuck by unlocking your hidden power. So let's get started. Hi there, and welcome. My name is Remy, like Do Re Mi. I'm a best-selling author and creator of the Get Unstuck Revolution. I help extraordinary women just like you dissolve the obstacles in your path so you can bring success to you. Now let's get started with today's video. Okay, let me jump off the screen here and switch over to my laptop. Sometimes we've been going through a struggle and we somehow have taken on the energy of that struggle. But things loosen up and we began to get some momentum in a forward direction. And so here we are in present time and we look around wondering, well, I'm out of that struggle, but I'm still feeling stuck. We're in the present now reality, looking at how wrong it still is and how things still aren't unfolding the way we'd imagined. So, how do we move ourselves out of the now moment and move our energy forward into a new reality where we can be excited for what's coming? After all, our new reality can't materialize if we're stuck here analyzing the now moments that just don't look right. There's an old saying that sometimes we're so busy creating our future that our present just keeps catching up with us, and that's where we want to be. We want to find a way to move our energy into our successful new future, and we want to do that now and then let time catch up with us. Well, if you'd like to see success and full abundance along life's journey, and if you're wanting to tap into a greater knowingness and align with the higher consciousness of your infinite self, instead of the lower ego thinking and negative thoughts that push success away, then this is for you. It's time to be unabashedly, unapologetically, happily untethered to ego thinking. It's time to align with the higher energies of our soul's path instead. Today's episode is for you if you wonder, how do we create a new reality when our now reality is commanding all our attention? Do our thoughts really create reality, or is there more to it than that? And how can we keep resistance off our greatest desires so that they can move into our new reality? Yes, these episodes are about how to find your hidden power when you want to transform these challenges into successes. I like to call it the audacity of alchemy, because when we're feeling stuck, it's never the situation that has us stuck. It's our energy about it that's become stuck in anxiety, overwhelm, doubts, worries, frustration, indecision, and even anger. And often this is because of a spiritual injury that we've experienced, some kind of a hidden trauma. So it isn't the pain of our situation, it's the pain of not being connected into the natural energy of who we really are, of being connected to that magical part of us that's a creative vibrational being who can use positive energies to create what we want and bring it into physical manifestation. We can allow our manifestations to materialize and not get stuck in the negative vibrations that block them. These positive energies that we talk about so much are where we find the audacity, the magic of alchemy, because our choice of frequency, our choice of those positive thoughts and emotions can change the course of our journey. All right. Today we're talking about how to create our new reality, because sometimes we get so stuck in the now physical world reality that our new reality can't materialize. Maybe we're no longer taking on the energy of our past struggle, but somehow here we are matching the energy of our present now reality as we've been watching for our material world to change, but it hasn't. And then we declare that something is still wrong. And when we do that, When we declare that something is still wrong, we're affirming that things aren't right, and that holds our now reality right here in place. As we affirm it, it becomes more and more solid. Somehow we have to find a way to move the energy into the frequency of the new reality that we'd like to experience. We literally want to go there now to our new reality before it materializes. And that's the magic of making things manifest. We're moving our energy forward, we're energetically getting out of the now and into the new. Let's say, for example, that we want to write a book, or we want to write a hit song, or we want to do a painting that hangs in one of the finest galleries. We move our thoughts, our energy, our vision, everything into this new reality 15 minutes after the successful attainment of our goal, as they say. And we go there into our future and we take a look around. What city is the gallery in? What size gallery is it? How big or how small is our painting? Is it on a wall with a spotlight on it? Do we have our own dedicated wall? Is there natural light streaming in? How many people are standing in front of it? Is there a little small orchestra playing off to the side? Are we there, present, to say hello to our potential customers? We want to immerse ourselves in the new reality before it materializes. And that's the magic of making things manifest. We're moving our energy forward. We're making a little movie of this future experience, and we can come back into our vision and replay this little movie anytime we'd like to until our vision manifests in the present now reality. If we sit and think about how we don't have it yet, well, we're locking things in place. Okay, so before our new reality can manifest, it's safe and sound in the unseen, unformed reality. This is an in between, unseeable place that's filled with life force energy where everything originates before coming into the physical. In this unformed reality, there's no beginning or end. There are no action steps as we know them. And yet, in this unformed reality, everything becomes animated with nothing more than our thoughts. Well, this is one of the principles in the Tao. In other words, our thoughts move into this unformed reality and animates the energy there so that what we want, or sometimes what we don't want, can take form and shape depending on what our thoughts are. Now, let's talk about something I don't think we've ever talked about before, and this may be a new concept for you. We live on what some would consider a duality planet, and I'll put this up on the screen here for you. And you'll see the duality of right versus wrong, light versus dark, yes versus no. That part we've talked about before, the duality of our planet. Negative thoughts versus positive thoughts, and how our thoughts can go up into the unseen reality and create something for our physical reality. And if you look here at the image that I've got on the screen for you, just above the earth there, well, there's the unseen reality, those little clouds up there at the top. All right. Let's consider the idea that our earth physical reality is all an illusion. What if there isn't right versus wrong? What if it's both? What if in our physical reality it isn't either light or dark? What if it's both? What if there's a spectrum or maybe a continuum where both light and dark exist? Would it be easier for us to go up into that unseen reality and create what we want if we didn't feel this contradiction between right and wrong, between light and dark, between yes and no, or any of the other countless contradictions that we face in our decisions? These contradictions exist on our earth physical reality so that we have choice, right? Our choice would be always to choose the light, although there are plenty of people who can't get there to see the light, and plenty of others who would argue the point that with free will, we have the choice to choose darkness if that's what we want to choose. But the concept I'd like to present for you is that in this illusion on the planet Earth, or in our physical reality, perhaps both exist. What if it isn't about choosing right versus wrong or light versus darkness? What if we can find the harmony between the two? If we can find harmony in these contradictions, then could our internal battles with ego thinking dissolve? Could our ego lose steam in its never ending battle to convince us that we're separate from all that is? Could we come to know a world where hate doesn't exist? Could we come to realize that we are in union with all that is and we're also separate? What if it's both? And when we think about it, wouldn't both the light and the dark need to exist in order for us to choose oneness, in order for us to be one with all that is? And from that perspective of oneness, would it be easier for us to go up into the unseen reality and create what we want? From this harmony, from this sense of oneness, from this spiritual perspective, would it be easier for us to go up into the unseen reality and create what we want for our new reality? All right. Follow me here because if we can get our heads around this idea that within this unseen, unformed reality, all things are possible, because the unseen reality is where everything originates. Our dark thoughts can create dark outcomes, and our positive thoughts can create positive outcomes. Both possibilities exist. And this is why I say that all things are possible, both good and bad experiences, depending entirely on our thoughts. Is it possible that this duality on our planet doesn't actually exist unless we buy into the concept? Is it possible there is no duality and we're actually all one with all that is, which might also mean that we're already one with all possibilities, both good and bad, right? Now, the reason I bring this up is just to lay a foundation for our next concept. We're looking at the concept that there is no right versus wrong, just what is. We're all on the spectrum that simply is. And I'll show you how this applies to creating a new reality here in just a minute. So we're on the spectrum and we have desire at one end of the continuum and we have allowing at the other end. They're different, yet they're the same. They're different, yet they're the same. Desire and allowing, they're different, but they're the same. Because desire means that we're holding the space or allowing for what we want, but without expectation and without attachment to the outcome. They're different, yet they're the same because they're on one continuum. We start with desire, we move into an allowing energy. What we want doesn't materialize, and so we tend to go back into desire and ask again. So, desire prepares us for receiving our new reality. Desire is preparing us to receive our new reality. But if we're hung up in our now physical reality, then this new reality can't materialize. If we become hung up in vacillating between here's what I want, but it isn't here yet, and that's oh so wrong. So here's what I want, even though now I'm a little frustrated, but well, I am willing to allow it to come to me. And so I'll breathe a little bit deeper. But now I'm getting more anxious because I don't have what I want. So I'm feeling more and more negative emotions about it. And we sometimes just go back and forth along this continuum, and this sticks us to our now physical reality. We get stuck, unable to get any momentum. Now, this is why I say that there's magic in that new reality. If we can let go of right versus wrong and light versus dark and yes versus no and all these things that create contradiction and confusion, if we can let go of all that and see that we are all part of all it is, it opens us up to new possibilities because we're no longer trapped in the ego thinking that tells us we're separate from what we want. And this is one of the biggest reasons to step outside of our now physical reality because it's limited. It has limitations. And these limitations and our negative thoughts about it are where we can sometimes get stuck. We forget that our thoughts and our desire go up into that unseen reality and animates the energy there, bringing what we want into our new reality. So, we're on this spectrum or this continuum. On one end here, we have desire, and on the other end here, we have allowing, where we're holding the space for what we want. And as we go up into the unseen, unformed realm and hold a desire for our new reality, well, there's magic in doing that. There's magic in taking the unformed and using our thoughts to form something that we desire. The trick is to not get so hung up in our now physical reality that our new reality can't materialize. We want to hold the space for the unformed to take form without our negative or limited thoughts blocking the movement of all this energy. There's a place in The Science of Getting Rich where Wallace Wattles says that our thoughts create reality. In fact, he says that it is mathematically certain that we will succeed if we develop sufficient strength in this. In other words, using our thoughts to create form needs to be one of our greatest strengths. And he goes on to say that if there is a failure of any kind anywhere, it's because our thoughts were either not sufficient toward our desire or our thoughts were misapplied. For example, if our thoughts are fixated on our now reality instead of our new reality. So, how exactly do we do this? How do we not get hung up in our now physical reality? How do we hold the space for the unformed to take form without our negative or limiting thoughts blocking the movement of this energy? Well, one technique that I've used for quite a long time and quite successfully is to take some of my affirmations and tack a little something something at the front end. And I'll give you an example. I'll put this on the screen so that you can see the difference and what I'm talking about. Here's one of my favorite affirmations: life is unfolding just beautifully. And this affirmation becomes: in my new reality, life is unfolding just beautifully. I'm adding in the phrase to the front of my affirmation that says, in my new reality. And we can do this for just about any affirmation or mantra. What this is doing is future pacing just a little bit. Maybe I'll imagine that I'm 1 week from today looking back over the week. Maybe I'm 1 month from today and I'm looking back over the month. And in doing this, I'm future pacing. I'm now holding my energy in a new reality. And the reason I do this is because sometimes we may have affirmations or mantras that we don't believe. A common example would be, I am now a millionaire. How many of us have tried that affirmation somewhere in our lifetimes and we hear our ego blow a raspberry and tell us it just isn't true? And then we have this internal argument and our thoughts become scrambled, and the universe doesn't know what to bring us as long as our thoughts are scrambled, right? The universe needs very clear instructions and a very clear vibration from us. The unformed reality is waiting to take form, and it takes form with our thoughts. So rather than using a mantra that invites ego to argue with us, we could simply modify it to say, in my new reality, and then fill in the blank. See how that works? We're putting focus on our new reality rather than matching the energy of a struggle of old beliefs or ego thinking or any of that nonsense that blocks our instructions to the universe. Okay, I'll give you an example. I was working on this with a client last week, and this future pacing didn't come very easily for her. So she wrote her own affirmation. I'll pull it up on the screen here for you. She wrote her own affirmation, and it included the full timeline. It included her full timeline. So in her affirmation, she said, I'm no longer an energy match to the struggle that's in the past. I'm also no longer a match to the now physical reality because that's also in the past. This second and this second and this second, the now reality is already in the past. She said, I'm now in my new reality and looking forward to what's coming. So for her, she had to address her entire timeline in order to move her energy forward. So maybe that's something that would work for you. All right. So we can work with this energy in a magical way on different timelines. Our objective is to allow life force energy to run through us unimpeded, free, and silky without any bumps. Because with this clean, positive energy, we can more easily visit the unformed reality and use our positive thoughts to help our vision take form. And as we stay in this frequency of curiosity and wonder about the unformed reality, we're allowing things to unfold and stretch out in divine order. We know that these unseen forces are always at work for our highest benefit. We just want to keep that flow unimpeded and understand where we are on that continuum between desire and allowing. And in doing so, we're inviting our perfect path to unfold. All right. As we empower ourselves towards self expression and who we are at our core without the negative thoughts and emotions that can drain us, we're choosing a higher frequency, higher and better thoughts, because our choice of frequency, our choice of more positive emotions and a more positive outlook changes the course of our journey, bringing us into our new reality. So, reflecting back on everything we covered today, how can you apply what you've learned? Do you feel like you can now move forward into a new reality and be excited for what's coming? Because the magic is in that new reality, not the now physical reality where we sometimes get so stuck that the new reality can't materialize. Okay, so I have a question. What were your three favorite takeaways? Well, my favorite takeaways for today are one, knowing that we can't fix the now reality because it's already manifested, but we can go create a new reality. I think my second favorite is that everything we want originates in the unseen reality. And this unseen reality is just as real as our physical world reality, but it's unformed, waiting for our thoughts to bring it into form. And three, I would say desire and allowing are different, yet the same. Desire simply means that we're holding the space or we're allowing for what we want, but without expectation and without attachment to the outcome. They're different, yet they're both the same because they're on the one continuum. So, those are my favorite takeaways, and I'd love to hear about yours. If you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment right here. If you're like most of my audience, you're over on my website at unlockyourhiddenpower.com. You can leave a comment there as well. I hope this helps you as you're using the powers of alchemy to transform challenges and obstacles into positive new successes. This podcast is all about helping you have success on your spiritual growth journey. It's all about getting unstuck by unlocking your hidden power. If you still can't get your head around what's got you stuck in life or in business, you can tell me about it. You can send me a question to questions at unlockyourhiddenpower.com, or you may not know that you can get a free copy of my latest book at unlockyourhiddenpower.com. You'll discover the 22 undeniable laws of alchemy and how to take a wrecking ball to doubts, worries, frustration, and indecision so that your challenges can evaporate right before your eyes. You can get your instant download at unlockyourhiddenpower.com. Well, thanks for joining me today, and I'm wishing you a life filled with all the alchemy you need to bring success to you. Feel free to share this video with anyone you know who's feeling stuck, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.